I have been on a mission to try to find a speculative series that I liked, as well as I liked the Prince of Nothing trilogy by R. Scott Baker. And I'm probably going to make a lot of people mad when I say it's been harder than I thought. I had such high hopes for the Chronicles of the Black Company. This is one volume, but it has the first three novels of this series inside it. And the logline for this, it seems like something I would love. If the idea of like James Elroy writes a fantasy series appeals to you, you will probably love this work. It is about a rich fantasy world, but seen from the perspective of some like low-level mercenaries. They don't always know why they have to fight, the people they have to fight. All they know is they got to get out there and do what they're told, while around them, magic, wizards, all the things you associate with fantasy, all these things are coming to light. I read the first book of the Dark Star trilogy by Marlon James. This is called Black Leopard, Red Wolf. You'll hear a lot of people online complaining this book is complex. There's some time jumps that are hard to follow. That's true for the first 100, 150 pages. After that, you kind of get your group of super friends together and they go off on a pretty traditional fantasy quest, trying to find this magic child. This book excels when it's bringing to life this rich fantasy world. The places that they go, the stories, the different myths that he brings to life, super rich, super involving. It falls apart a little bit, in my opinion. I had a hard time connecting with the action scenes. It seemed like he was just kind of trying to get through them to get to the next world, the next beautiful thing he wanted to describe. And I felt like I couldn't quite follow some of the motivations of the characters too. This book was a finalist for the National Book Award, however. The second book tells this same story, but from the perspective of a female witch, just a different character in the story. And I gotta admit, I'm kind of interested in that. It's the same thing that I did in my 2016 and 2019 novellas Sever and Camille, where you hear the story of a serial killer on a college campus told once from the perspective of a secular male student and once from the perspective of a supernatural female one, a witch. And I'd be interested in knowing how a much more accomplished and awarded author tackles that same sort of idea. However, there's a lot of books out there, and I wanted to find something that I was just really, really passionate about. And so I started where most people consider the top of sci-fi fiction, Dune. This is a story of a boy on the desert planet of Arrakis. This boy is fated to become a very dangerous person, and you follow him as he evolves to become a leader of his people and a leader of the indigenous peoples of this planet. I did absolutely love how rich this was. There are political stories, there are military stories, there are sociological stories, and environmental stories that all are woven together to create a really powerful piece of fiction. Got to say that once I finished this one, I wasn't dying to go read Dune Messiah. I'd like to read it before the movie comes out. That's based on it. I think that's coming out in December. But for now, I kind of felt like, okay, I read Dune. I understand why people like it. I'm going to keep going. And if you like R. Scott Baker and The Prince of Nothing, the book that the algorithm and the internet tells you to read is the First Law trilogy, starting with The Blade itself by Joe Abercrombie. And I can see why. I mean, this author understands the assignment. He brings together these fantasy characters. He understands the genre tropes. He knows how to get readers what they want to create a compelling story. I felt very much like Abercrombie is a capital A author, a person whose job it is to write compelling, popular fiction. And yeah, I respected it. But for me, I want to feel the writer. I want to feel someone who is desperate to say something. I want to feel someone who is trying to use the English language to create art, which leads me to Ada Palmer. It's not quite true to say I've never read anything like the Terra Ignota series by Ada Palmer, starting with To Like the Lightning. But to explain what it's like, I would have to say imagine a book like Mason and Dixon by Thomas Pynchon, imagine classic literature, maybe imagine Argyll by William Vollmann, and then combine that obsession with the 1700s, the 1800s, with a sci-fi story about a future in which mankind has apparently evolved to a much better place. Instantaneous global travel has made the nation state kind of meaningless. The language has evolved to eliminate repressive hierarchies. Even the worst criminals are used as servicers so that they can do some good for society. And while traditional religion has been outlawed, people can still find spirituality through personal senseirs. So it seems like maybe the world has become a perfect place, except it's not. it's still being held together by secret societies and murderous conspiracies. Now, it's not like I think this was like a perfect book. I definitely had some feelings that like some of the plot contrivances just stretched disbelief too much. But if I had any doubt about which series I was going to plow forward with, it was eliminated when I actually got to the afterword by the author, Ada Palmer. I wanted it so much. So much sometimes it felt like I couldn't breathe. Sometimes I would cry not because I was sad, but because it hurt. Physical pain from the intensity of wanting something so much. There are a lot of reasons you can want to be an author: acclaim, wealth, self-respect, finding a community, the finite immortality of name and print, so many more. But I wanted it to add my voice to the great conversation, to reply to Diderot, Voltaire, Osamu Tezuka, and Alfred Bester, so people would read my books and think new things and make new things from those thoughts. My little contribution to the path, which flows from Gilgamesh and Homer to the stars. And I was like, hell yes. Like, this is what I want out of literature, and this is what I want out of a writer. Not just somebody who's putting words on paper, but somebody who cares about this art form and wants to deliver big ideas. And that's why I've already read the second book in the series, bought the third book, and I'm definitely going to finish it. If you like books like the Terra Ignota series by Ada Palmer, check out my short story Goulash. It's super cheap on Amazon. It's like $1.49 for the Kindle version or $5 or $6 for the print. If you get the print, there's illustrations of the characters in here, which I did myself. In this short story, an artificial intelligence is found dead, drowned in an idyllic stream. And when none of the applicable algorithms can calculate a likely cause, a human clone is tasked with the investigation. There are days when I believe this is the best thing I have ever written. None of my friends agree with me. They all find the ending just a little soft, a little literary, but if you like works like Terra Ignota, you might enjoy it, so check it out. And thank you for watching.